What's going on, everybody? This is Jailbreak Weekly, episode number 7. I have my co-hosts on the line. We have David, who is finally back from camp. What's going on, David?
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be back with you guys, and I'm really excited to just record and just act like nothing's changed. It feels like, after 3.5 weeks of not being on technology at all, coming back, and it feels like nothing's changed. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, this episode, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, also we haven't recorded the people who've been here in 3 weeks. We also have Justin Wack on the line. What's going on, Justin?
Yeah, save me for last. Jeez, dude. No, I'm just kidding. It's great to be here. What can I say? It's been a little slow on the tech news front, but I have a feeling it's going to explode in the fall. So, like it always does. So, I'm looking forward to that. And happy to be here.
For sure. So lots happened, lately. Particularly in the jailbreak world. We saw 8.4.1's released, which is a minor iOS 8 update. Unfortunately, it patches the Taiji jailbreak. It patches multiple vulnerabilities that the jailbreak, uses to exploit your device when you jailbreak. It also fixes some Apple Music bugs. So basically, it's nothing worth updating to if you're jailbroken. So if you're on 8.4 jailbroken, stay away. However, the signing window is still open for 8.4, so you can still downgrade temporarily. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, me and Andy both have made tutorials on how to actually go about downgrading your device if you are running iOS 8.4.1. Yeah, definitely take a look at either one of ours if you want to know.
Yeah, we'll put them in the description. And Justin, what are you gonna say? Sorry,
I was actually just gonna say both of you guys made tutorials, didn't you? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so and you know what though, it's an interesting concept, these downgrades, because it seems like the downgrade cycle in iOS 8 has been longer than it's really ever been before, and I think that might have something to do with that. iOS 8 has not been the most stable version of iOS. In fact, some may argue it was the least stable version of iOS in history. And so I think because of that, the downgrade window, they try to stretch it out a little bit more. And I think it's great. I mean, for jailbreakers, it's great. The downside is obviously you're dealing with a buggy version of iOS.
Well, yeah, like right from the beginning, I remember when Apple released iOS 8.0 the first time, the signing window was open for a while because I think they knew, that it was going to be buggy. So yeah, that's definitely a very good point. And it's good because worst comes to worst, people could always downgrade for a couple weeks. But yeah, like in times like this, it's great for jailbreakers who accidentally updated or didn't know what was going on. So, did you guys get a chance to update to 8.4? Because the clock is ticking definitely. If you're on an older firmware, or if you're on iOS 9 or something.
Yeah, I updated. I have only one device on 8 because I have devices on 5, 6, 7, and 9 right now, and then I have one device on 8, which is my main driver.
Gotcha, yeah.
That was up to. It's funny that we're talking about this because I just got a software update notification stating that iOS 8.4.1 is available for download. But yeah, so as I was saying, 8 is on my main driver. I'm on 8.4 right now, and I'm glad. That's probably where I'm gonna stay, and I'm looking forward to the last month of buggy operating systems.
Yeah, let's hope so for sure. But personally, I'm going to be staying on 8 for a while on my main phone because jailbreak. But yeah, let's hope iOS 9 clears things up. What about you, Dave? Did you get a chance to get on 8.4 and everything this time?
Yeah, well, okay. So basically, what happened was, when day one, when 8.4 actually dropped, I basically was on it. Because, see, the thing was, I didn't have a jailbreak previously, like I did for 8.3, I think. Because at the time I'm pretty sure it was either 8.3 or 8.2, whatever firmware it was before that. And that already had a jailbreak at that point. And they were talking about getting the tool updated. I was like, you know what? Like, I really want to use Apple Music. I feel like even if the jailbreak isn't released like right after 8.4 drops, that it's not going to be too far after, which I was thankfully right about that. So I just decided to go ahead and do it. So I've been, on 8.4 on most of my main devices for a long time. I'm maybe considering switching my iOS to iOS 9 on my iPad just because I kind of I wanted to test, slide over and split view and all of those things. I think you can only do it on the iPad Mini 2 or the iPad Air 2 though. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, a lot of those features were visual, so I didn't really pay too much attention to them in the keynote. Um, but
Yeah.
this brings up an interesting point. And I mean, right now, Andy, you said you're staying on 8.4. David, you said you might upgrade your iPad to 9. What are you guys planning for, like, the next generation, so to speak, of Apple devices, like the iOS 9, iPhone 6s, even the Apple Watch to an extent? Like, what are you guys thinking you guys are going to do with the next generation?
Well, so I don't plan on buying the next iPhone because it's rumored to be a small update, internal changes, which can be big, but I'm gonna try to stick, for the rest of my Apple life with, the whole numbers. So I'm not gonna be getting that, but what I'm gonna be doing with my setup is I have my main device jailbroken. I always have it like that. It's on 8.4, all my awesome tweaks and whatnot are on there. And then I have my secondary device, my iPod Touch 5th Gen. That's going to be going to iOS 9 on its release, and it's currently on the betas. So that's how I'm running things right now.
It's
So
amazing.
yeah,
It's amazing that the iPod Touch 5th generation even goes that far up now.
I know it's much faster too. That was a recent
Yeah,
announcement, yeah.
it's crazy. Like, I have the beta right now on my 4S of iOS 9, and it's honestly, iOS 9 on my 4S runs better than iOS 7 did. Like, it's a remarkable speed increase. I haven't ever seen an iOS version like this, maybe not since 5. So I'm really looking forward to that. So because of that, I think I am going to be getting the 6S because I have ways of getting money for the 6S, and if I can afford it, then why not? And B, hopefully they're going to be keeping the design factor of the 6, but I've heard that they're going to obviously be upgrading specs. And the thing I like about the S lineup, and Andy, I'm kind of opposite of you. I prefer the S lineup to the numbered lineup because the S lineup is, it fixes any hardware deficiencies that the numbered lineup might have. So
Right, yeah.
I'm very excited about the 6S coming out.
I could see that absolutely, but it's just okay. Like after I've spent so much money, it's an expensive device, obviously, on something, like the iPhone 6 Plus, which is what I have. I feel like I'm just, I'm just gonna wait. I mean, it's just yes, it's faster and it's, it looks similar, but it's faster, it's more refined, but I don't know. Just personally for me, it's not worth like those few hardware, adjustments or like even software adjustments. It's not worth an entirely new purchase. But again, that's just me. I'm a little more, I could deal with bugs and problems because I test a lot of tweaks out and whatnot. So I'm just kind of used to that, I guess.
Yeah. David, what's your opinion on this? Which one are you getting if you're getting one, and do you prefer the S line or the numbered line overall?
So, I don't know. It's kind of like I'm kind of half and half. Like I kind of agree with what Andy's saying about the whole number line, but then also with the S lineup, I do kind of agree with what you're saying as well because it makes a lot more. I mean, it's just like if you look at if you go back in history with Apple and you look at the 4 and look at the 4S, visually there's no difference whatsoever. Really the only thing between the 4 and the 4S is it's got a faster processor and Siri was added to the 4S. So, I mean, I feel like that's almost example enough where, the 4 was super slow and then, in the S model on the 4S, they were like, okay, well, what do we need to do? Well, we need to make this faster. We need to make it, better. So, I don't know. I guess I'm on both sides here.
Okay, so are you going to be getting a 6S or probably not?
So I probably will be getting the 6S, and the reason why I'm going to get the 6S is because so I've basically had my iPhone 5, which is my current phone. It's my daily driver. I've had that for about 2 years now.
Oh
I'm
wow,
pretty,
that's going to be a big jump.
yeah. So I'm pretty excited for it because I don't know. I'm just like I'm ready for the Touch ID. I'm ready for the lock button on the other side. Watch them just randomly change it back to the top now.
Huge changes here. The lock button's gonna be on the other side. Like what?
Yeah, no, I could totally see everyone just freaking out. Or no, what if they put all the buttons on the back like the LG the G phones from LG?
It's like such small things, if you ask me. Like, a lot of freaks out over like the lock button.
Yeah, or like the lock button could be like touchscreen. Like
Yeah, no. Oh, that'd be annoying actually. I want physical buttons for
Yeah.
locking my device. But see, it's like going back to the S thing for a second though. Like it's the reason I like the S lineup so much is because it puts more of an emphasis on software. You know what I mean? Like with the 4S,
Right,
it was Siri. With the 5S, it was the design of iOS 7. Like completely
Yeah.
redoing iOS, and Touch ID, which was a hardware thing. You know what I mean? Like they always have those really groundbreaking, innovative features. Like, so I don't know. I'm just a fan of the S lines in general. Maybe it's because my first iPhone ever was a 4S. I don't know.
right.
But yeah, it's an interesting concept. So how about for storage then, David? What are you looking at for storage, do you think?
So I'm pretty sure I've heard early rumors, and I think this is pretty much almost confirmed anyway. And I know Andy's like, oh well, I survived like with 8 GB, but come on, who in this today who uses a phone that's got 8 GB on it? Like I feel like the regular maybe Andy, maybe you do, but I'm saying the regular iPhone user who takes a lot of pictures and who records a lot of video and spends a lot of time on their iPhone with apps and takes up a lot of storage, they're gonna burn right through an 8 GB model.
I want to interject here for 1 second. That argument is kind of invalid, seeing as how a lot of people in third world countries are using 8 GB iPhones right now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's true that there's a ton of people using them. For example, my family, like a lot of my family members have like 3GSs or 4s, like that I've passed down to them that have 8 gigs, and they do fine. Occasionally they run out and they need to delete some stuff, but it's certainly possible. But I see how how phones get more and more important, that it can get difficult. But yeah, there's a lot of people from third world countries and around the world who get by. So I think it's okay. It's just it's not gonna stick. Like basically 8 gigs are gone. Now it's 16 gig is the lowest, and eventually it's gonna get to 32, and it'll get better with time.
Who knows? Oh, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like that's just the natural progression of things.
Yeah.
It's just gonna keep the amount of storage is just gonna keep going up, which is good because it's just like we're going, and this is actually really good also. We're going further and further away from seeing that annoying message pop up on our iPhone saying, "Hey, well, you don't have any storage left. You have to delete some stuff." So, and that happened, like, it doesn't happen all the time for me, but that happens a lot to some of my friends. Like, I get a lot of my friends coming up to me saying, how do I do this without, like, deleting stuff? Like, it's just, like, people don't want to have to get rid of stuff if they
No.
Yeah.
So ultimately then, David, like, are you going to be getting the smallest model of storage then, whether it's 16 or 32 gigabytes?
So probably what's going to end up happening is I have a 32 gigabyte iPhone 5 right now. So it's been fairly okay with storage. So I think probably what's going to end up happening is if they drop the 16, I'm probably going to get the 32 anyway, just because that's the one that's there. But if they keep the 16 and it's between the 16 and the 32, I'm going to go with the 32 just because I like kind of the extra insurance there, just so I know that I can record some stuff. And then I also have to think about, too, that, depending on if rumors are true or not, with the next iPhone, there could be a significantly better and improved camera on the iPhone. So if there is, that means I'm going to be spending a lot more time on my iPhone recording rather than recording on another device. So I'm going to need more space to be able to do that. So
Yeah, makes sense. I'm probably gonna get like a fairly high amount of storage, probably a 64, is what I'm thinking right now. But yeah, I mean, this entire thing, it's gonna be great in September. September 9th, mark your calendars. Tell Siri to remind you, however you do it. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even for somebody who doesn't plan on buying one of the phones, of course that could change. I could change my mind, but it's still exciting. With iOS 9 and like the possibility of a jailbreak. That's always very exciting. Yeah, it's just gonna be fun for sure.
So I did just want to touch on one thing real fast. Go back to what Justin said about September. What was it? September 9th, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So September 9th. I mean, that's what a lot of the rumors are saying, but we don't really. I don't think we really know 100% that it's gonna be that specific date until we.
No, I think they confirmed it officially that it's going to be on September 9th, but I could be wrong. Have they confirmed?
I don't know. Like either way, I think that like even if it was a leak, it was from a reliable source. So
yeah,
somewhere around there.
Whatever. Soon enough, we'll know anyway.
Yeah.
I was under the impression it was officially confirmed.
I actually kind of want to know. Hold on, I'm googling this because I want to know. Let's see.
Okay, so I guess while Dave is googling that, we can talk a little bit about the iPhone 6s and what to expect. Also, some other products like the iPad Pro. So, of course, we've kind of touched on a lot of this already, but for the 6S, we're expecting, obviously same design for the most part, internal upgrades, Force Touch on the display like the Apple Watch, where you could basically, you have the ability to press on the display as opposed to tap, and you could get a different set of options. Very, very cool and simple way to interact with your device. Very nice on the Apple Watch. A9 chip processor, new rose gold color, which is basically pink. It's kind of surprising because Apple usually sticks with classic colors, but I don't know. Who knows? This might be popular with the rose gold, but I think there might be an upgrade in the glass, so it's a little more durable, but obviously we don't know. That's just the
So apparently, just a small update about the date. It says, according to a new report from BuzzFeed's I'm totally gonna butcher his last name, but John Paskowski, Apple will hold its annual fall iPhone event on September 9th. So it's kind of just it says they cited the sources familiar with Apple's plans, claims that Apple is targeting the week of September 7th for the event, which is Wednesday the 9th for being the front runner right now, it says.
Okay, so it isn't official yet. Okay.
So there's also rumors of the iPad Pro. We've been hearing rumors for like a really long time about this. It's been.
I'm not an iPad Pro guy. I'm sorry. I'm just. It's not my cup of tea, really.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I might pick one of these up. It's just the fact that it's so much bigger. It's just rumored to be, I think, 12 point something inches, which is much bigger than the previous iPad.
12.9, I believe.
12.9. Yeah, that's great. I'd like to play around with it. So I might get one. It's rumored to not launch in September. I think it's going to be announced in September that it'll launch later.
So it's kind of going to be, in a sense, maybe like the Apple Watch. Like Apple's gonna like unveil it and then hold it off until later. They're gonna maybe say like in the second quarter of 2015, like they did, and then.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is that what they said? I'm pretty sure.
Well, they haven't obviously said anything about it officially yet, but that's what the rumors are pointing to. I know that there was some web. I didn't read this article. It just was a passing thing I saw on my Twitter feed the other day. That there was actually some web traffic with iOS 9.1.
Right, I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was assumed that was an iPad Pro. So assuming that the Pro will launch with iOS 9.1, there's a very good chance I'd place bets on the first quarter of 2016, possibly the early second quarter, but I'd place bets on the first first quarter, honestly.
Yeah, the first quarter sounds a lot more likely than anything else, honestly. So, yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually like pretty excited for this. Like it's just I've heard rumors of it for so long, and it's just like it's a brand new like ridiculously huge product, and I like new changes. Like I love the 6 Plus, 'cause, you know, it got a nice display. I just like it when things change drastically like that. So
I
I'll probably pick one up.
I like change, but I don't like humongous screens.
Right. Yeah.
And
I can understand.
that's just my personal opinion. Like I've never been really I mean, it's kind of ironic. My first device I ever owned was an iPad, but I've never been like an iPad fanatic. Like once I got my iPhone, I'm like, okay, this is a great size for me. I love this. Like, you know, I don't actually like I have my iPad still. I own it. But it's an iPad 2, and I've had that since it first came out. So,
See, here's the thing, and I didn't want to interrupt, but I was just going to say, here's the thing that I think is kind of the problem, and this is the thing that I think is the problem with iPods too, is Apple basically with the iPod and with the iPad, they kind of just they marketed with the iPod, it was different, but with the iPad, they kind of just marketed it a little bit, except if it was maybe for business or school or whatever. If it was just for the regular, more casual user, it's just like the iPod or the iPhone. There's not enough of a difference between the iPad, the iPod, and the iPhone in terms of, you know, the operating system. I mean, up until recently with iOS 9, you know, slide over and split view, now that is, you know, they're trying to, I guess, make it a little bit of a difference. So
yeah.
you can do on the iPad, but you can't do it on the iPhone or the iPod yet.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
very good point.
their sales are struggling on the iPad, and they want to force you to buy it. A,
Right.
and B, you know, it just comes back to the iPhone 6 Plus is cannibalizing the iPads now. It's a matter, like, if you look at the numbers, it's a matter of fact that
Yeah.
It's 2 in the morning here. Well, it's different for you because you're on a different time
yeah,
zone.
yeah,
But
no, it's not that late for me, actually. I look, we are the late night crew at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All three of us, we tend to stay
Yeah.
up
for
too.
me and Andy, we have an excuse because for us, it's 2 in the morning right now. So
Well, I mean, but let's be real here. Like 2 in the morning for you guys is like
6
early.
p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, but really, like what David was saying, it's completely true with the iPads and, you know, and the iPods. How, you know, there's not a big enough difference from the iPhone. Same thing. Like I run into this issue with my Apple Watch. I rarely wear it anymore, and I'm considering selling it because everything I do on the watch can be done on the phone faster. So
well,
um,
I mean, see, and this
it's
is
just my
kind of the
thing.
reason
Like
why
that's
I
just
say,
yeah.
yeah, with everyone else who says, oh yeah, well, like, you know, with the Apple Watch, why do you need it? And it's true, but like, you know, like, why do you need it? Because you can do the exact same thing on the phone. You can do it like, you know, basically the exact same way. But then I say, you know, to them, I'm like, well, you know, I could just look at my wrist and then, you know, quickly reply to whatever's there, and I don't have to pull out my phone.
Yeah,
So say,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
one benefit of the Apple Watch. Being able
Yeah.
No,
to
I disagree with that, actually.
Okay. Well, again, it's just me.
Um,
I'm, you know, I'm just not
yeah,
into
and
it.
I see where you're coming from, Andy, but I think this makes me, and it doesn't make me annoyed, but I'm not a fan of when people do this, is when you know, people compare the Apple Watch to things like to, you know, like when it was first coming out, for example, that people were like, oh well, it's not going to sell nearly as much as, you know, the iPhones or the iPads or the iPods or whatever. And you look, at the end of the day, the Apple Watch is a completely different product category than
Yeah,
any of these
it's a
things.
different market. It's a
The
niche market.
iPad,
Yeah,
the
I
iPad
understand.
is the same product category as, you know, the iPhone. It's just a bigger iPhone that can't make voice calls, or it can, even if you have, you know, even with Skype. But you know, if you look at the Apple Watch, like, it's a completely different. It's a wearable. It's, you know,
Right.
a more personal thing. It's a fitness tracker. It's like, there are many things that the watch can do that the phone actually can't. I can name,
Yeah,
you know,
I hear
quite
you.
a few things off the top of my head, like fitness tracking, um, navigation. It vibrates on your wrist and it taps your wrist to tell you where to go, which is actually less of a safety hazard than using your
That's
phone
true.
and looking at your phone. Actually, I can recall one specific time at WWJC when we were walking to 7-Eleven at 2 in the morning and trying to follow along the phone, and I think Andy was looking at his phone and ended up running into a building.
Well, I run into buildings constantly, so I don't think that's fair.
That's a common thing, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I often run into buildings on my phone.
Okay,
I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. But that was kind of off topic. But either way, I completely understand everything that you're saying. But yes, I'm into fitness and everything, but I'm not I don't track it. I don't track it exactly. I'm not a huge precise tracker of it. But again, I see the use. I see the use in the GPS. I don't really use it when I'm walking, so it's not a big deal. I could see with driving, it's great because you don't have to look down. You don't have to, look at your phone when you're driving because that's horribly dangerous and illegal. But
See, I think
for me, I don't drive. It's just right, I don't drive yet. I will in a few months, but I mean, either way, it's just these things are there and they're great, but it's just not for me right now.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Like for example, I wear my Apple Watch, but I only wear it when I go out, because I don't really have.
Same for me too.
I don't have a use for it at home because I'm on my phone or computer all the time at home.
Yeah.
So, that's what's happened with me and my Apple Watch. But for example, when school starts back up, I'll be wearing it every day again because at school it's one of my staples. It gets me through classes really easily because I don't have to take out my phone. You know what I mean? I can look at my texts or if my brother texts me and says hey, take the bus home today. I can't drive you because I'm writing an exam or whatever. I can get that instantaneously in my class with my Apple Watch. But it's an interesting debate, and I'd be really interested to know, if they did studies, how many users of the Apple Watch actually wear it when they, are at home. But
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I think it's just overall. And see, keep in mind, I think it's going to change too as.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just going to say, I was going to add on to that point and say, I feel like this generation, since it's the first, is kind of just like a trial run for Apple. I feel like as time goes on, they're going to start, and it's kind of the same thing with the iPhone and really with everything that they do. As time goes on, they start adding more features to it, and I think it's going to start to be I think it's going to be a lot more useful than, how everyone says, oh yeah, it's just, the watch, it's just an accessory. You can do all the same stuff you can do on the phone. I feel like that's going to change at some point, and they're going to introduce a lot of groundbreaking stuff that's just for the watch itself. And I feel like eventually they're going to start to untether it from the phone, and I hope that eventually that's going to happen.
Oh no, they will. I think eventually you're going to be seeing an Apple Watch that can, take SIM cards even. I really... even if you look at watchOS 2, which is, supposed to hopefully be announced on September 9th and released, in that ballpark area, even if you look at watchOS 2, remarkable upgrades. They're making huge progress. So I think the Apple Watch is definitely still an evolving category. And that's the thing. That's another reason why I don't like to compare the Apple Watch to the iPad, because the Apple Watch is still an evolving product category. The iPad, for the most part, has pretty much hit its, evolution. There's less innovation. There's pretty much, look, at the end of the day right now, Apple's forced themselves into a position where they almost can't really make any groundbreaking new innovations on the iPad anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I want to buy the the new iPad Pro, because I think having that larger display, because when you pick up any iPad, any full size iPad now, it's the same size. It doesn't really shock and awe. But I really think that this thing could it could catch your eye, and it could be useful for many different things. So
what's pretty interesting to me is that the fact that, and I just, it doesn't really make all that much sense to me now. If rumors are true and what's going to happen is going to happen, and the iPad Pro is going to be released by Apple, all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of going to replace the way the iPad is now, why would they introduce slide over and split view for the current iPad when it would just make so much more sense to have that kind of technology in the iPad Pro.
Oh, because it's a marketing tool. At the end of the
It'll
day,
just carry over too, you know.
yeah, it's a marketing tool because if they get people used to it now, they may say, "Oh, look, this is on the new iPad. I want to get this." You know what I mean? Like I think that's ultimately what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and
And
also it'll be even better on the new iPad. Sorry to interrupt. It's just because the screen's so big. I'm sure it'll be even more useful to side by side multitasking.
oh, I can just imagine the dislocated fingers from trying to reach on that screen. I can just see it now. No
I
pun
don't know.
intended.
I'm still excited about it.
No, see, and you're a sighted person. I understand. You know what I mean? Like it's something that I think a lot of sighted people will enjoy. I've never been a advocate for big screens. At 4.7 inches is pretty much my limit.
I think that's like an average. That's on the larger end, but it's certainly an average.
In today's
size,
market, that's on the smaller end, I think. Honestly,
That's true. In terms of like the average market, though, and you see people like a lot of people have iPhone 5s,
Yeah.
4Ss. But yeah, in terms of like the overall tech market, yeah, you're right.
Speaking of iPhone 5s, do you think this question just popped up in my head. Do you think it would be possible for Apple to do something like kind of like, have basically bring back and revive the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5S screen size, but have all the same technology and,
I was just going to mention that.
Yes, yeah.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah,
You guys are connected.
I hope so. I really hope so, because if they did that, I would definitely get that phone. 4.7 inches is nice, but it's just, I don't know. There's just something about the 5S, It's just magical. Like I'm.
Because it's newer and it looks shinier.
Johnny Ive. The iPhone 5S is magical.
Aluminium.
The aluminium on the back does not even bend.
It actually is. Like
we
it's my
made sure
favorite.
after that Ben Gate thing that we made sure to get it right this time. So your iPhone won't bend anymore.
The 5S is probably my favorite phone design. It's so beautiful. It's much better, I think, than the 5S or than the 6, and also it's sturdy. It feels good in the hand. It's got those nice corners, which is easy to grip. Like the 6 is kind of slippery. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of the 5.
Oh, the 5S. The 5S is nostalgic too for me. Like
nostalgic.
Yes, that is a nostalgic phone for me. Like I will always keep that phone. I am not selling that phone because like that's when I really started to get into the jailbreaking community. iOS 7 was probably my favorite jailbreak of all time.
Me too. It was
I would say
such a good time for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the community kind of just I feel like it just kind of innovated at that point. It was just like there was so much new stuff that had not even seen the light of day at that point, and it was just like kind of a beginning of this new beginning where we were going to see a lot more tweaks that were released specifically for a lot of the stuff that they announced.
Yeah, and iOS 7, such a big design change. Rebuilt, and it was like a fresh coat of paint.
It's kind of sad in a way though, because I was reading a Forbes article. I think this is like a couple months ago, and it said that the jailbreak statistics is that I think it was like something like 45% of or something like that. I can't remember. It wasn't 45%. It was like the percentage of I think it was in China. Okay. I think it was like 45% of jailbreaks or people on iOS 7 in China were jailbroken or something like that, and that decreased to like 13% in iOS 8 or something like that. I don't know if that's correct. I'll have to go find the article so we can put it in the description.
That's interesting. I wonder why, if that was
because 8 opened up so much. You know what I mean? Like 7.
But I don't know. I feel like most people jailbreak to get like a lot of customization options and tweaks and whatnot. Unfortunately, some people do it for piracy, but like in terms of tweaks and like customization, iOS 8 really didn't open it up that much. You still can't tweak your device. You still can't it's not nowhere near. I just feel like I don't know. I just don't feel like it would.
No,
really...
I agree, but hey, I'm not the millions of people who aren't jailbreaking their devices anymore.
Yeah,
So
I know. I was just, it just seemed like something that wouldn't have as big of an effect, but who knows, I know people. I have some friends who stopped jailbreaking after. So I think that just about wraps it up. So yeah, it's good. There's been a lot of Apple, stuff, obviously with the, future fall coming up. But in terms of the jailbreak, stay away from it for 8.4.1, because again, it patches the jailbreak. If Also, separate from downgrade, Cydia Impact, which is a recently released tool from Soric, does allow you to unjailbreak your device and restore it to factory settings. It's an app you could download from Cydia that allows you to do that. It completely unjailbreaks the device, so that comes in use. That will come in use after the signing window closes for 8.4. So you can basically continuously restore and re-jailbreak your device.
yes,
If something goes wrong or something like that. So
I
I
did just want to. I did just wanted to throw. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack there. I did just want to also throw in there as well, just a little side note that Soric did actually confirm that at this point it doesn't work with the iPod Touch 6th generation. So if you have an iPod Touch 6th generation and you want to use this, unfortunately, if 8.4 is not being signed anymore, you're gonna have to, and you need to restore whatever it is. You're gonna have to go ahead and do it through iTunes because there's no other way.
yeah. Yeah, the one thing I also wanted to say as well is this only works for iOS 8. So if you got any devices on 7 or 6 or pretty much anything pre iOS 8,
I'm pretty sure it was 8.2, 0.3, and 0.4. I'm pretty sure.
okay,
Just 0.3
okay,
or 0.4.
which is a shame. I'd love to give my 5S a fresh restore. I think that'd be great. And then just re-jailbreak it on 7, but unfortunately, that's not happening. But you know what? Hats off to Soric for everything he does. I mean, the guy's a super genius. Like there's no questioning it. Like if especially meeting him in the flesh, like he's an absolute inspiration to the community. And I think that City Impactor is just his latest thing, but I think it's a huge step forward for sure.
I know, and he does so much that he doesn't need to do. He just does so much to help, the community. It's very good to see that, he's as opposed to just maintaining it, he dedicates so much time to it, and he builds, brand new tools to help out, just for the good of the community, and again, it's a really remarkable thing to see somebody, that dedicated. So, again, props to him for everything he does for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that just about wraps it up. It's been a pleasure, and I know we've been kind of off of the grid for a couple weeks, the past 3 weeks, but we are back now. We're up. We're going to be recording each week, so definitely expect new episodes again weekly because we are Jailbreak Weekly.
Yes.
And it's been fun. Do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap up?
I'm just really, really excited to be back. I mean, it's just with the certain bloopers we may or may not have had, it just felt like home again. So I'm glad I'm back, and I'm glad we're doing this.
Wilderness. Yeah.
It's making a good homecoming to be back and doing this again. So.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, dude. Honestly, it's good. And I mean, Jarek has some personal stuff going on right now. Nothing bad. So I'm not sure how often he'll be around over the next month or so, but we'll definitely try to get him on here as much as possible, and we'll be here as well. So, and then in a month he'll probably be back. So, you know what? It's gonna be a great fall. It's gonna be fantastic, end of last 4 months of 4 months. There's only 4 months left in 2015. I just realized that.
Wow.
Great 4 months of the year, and you know what? Before we know it, it'll be 2016, which is completely weird. And then it's another new year for technology, and we see products and more bad products, and it'll just be very entertaining.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
We messed up a lot while recording this episode. here are some bloopers, and as always, enjoy.
So I think that
Pineapples!
you.
Okay, that'll be in a
So I think that just about wraps it up. It was good, we talked about. I already said that, didn't I? You did.
Well,
okay, all right.
Plus you lagged out there, so it's a good thing you restarted.
Okay.
It was cutting out again, dude.
Again? All right. I'm just gonna run a speed test and see what happens.
Oh my god.
I'm bored. I'm like the halftime show. David and his blue kazoo.
Okay, like it turned out my upload speed so bad that it can't even get the upload speed. So you've seen a lot of wait, Justin, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So yeah, what's happened lately over the past few weeks? In terms of jailbreak news, we saw 8.4.1's release. Well, what's happening? Hey, rolling your mic down a hill.
Can I try joining on my phone instead of my... Let me see if my phone... I feel like my computer's like being stupid.
What's with... Is someone like dropping their mic constantly?
Picking it up, dropping it, picking it up. Picking it up.
Okay,
Drop it. I remember Jailbreak and I dropped my PC in the middle of a talk and I said like out loud.
Wait, what happened?
I said Jailbreak and I dropped my computer and I said like you remember that, Justin, didn't you?
I do.
Wait, whose top was it?
I don't know. Well, yeah, lots happened lately. In terms of jailbreak scene, we saw iOS 8.4.1's release, which unfortunately does patch the PyG jailbreak. It's basically just a minor iOS 8 update, except for the fact that it patches several layers of PyG.
It's happening again.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like on the same words too. It's actually kind of weird. It's happening.
Yeah, I wonder
Let
if
me
it's
just
your
check
mic.
mine. Yeah. Let me just check
Maybe,
mine.
maybe check if it's plugged in.
the iPad 6 Plus is, taking away potential iPad business, I think, because it's such a big phone, and,
You said iPad 6.
So, alright, so, Justin, just because David interjected, just say, oh, I'm sorry, I meant iPhone 6 Plus or something.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant,
You just copied exactly what...
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant, iPod 6 Plus. iPhone 6 Plus, there we go. I can't get my, 6s and pluses. I just can't do math right now.
You